What's up, St. Louis? It's your host, Luke Farrell of the STL Bucket List Show. The STL Bucket List Show is driven by Bomarito Automotive Group. Bomarito is Missouri's #1 car dealership with over 20 locations, so I guarantee that there's one in your neighborhood. Since the 1970s, Bomarito has sold over 1 million cars, and John and the entire team made us feel completely comfortable when we picked up our new vehicle recently for the family. So I can't thank the Bomarito team enough for driving this episode forward, and enjoy the show. For 50 years, Bankhead and Firth Orthodontics has been proudly serving the vibrant St. Louis community. As a family-owned and operated practice since day one, the commitment to excellence and personalized care runs deep. They believe in giving back to the wonderful people of St. Louis who have entrusted them with their smiles. Step into the 5 locations across St. Louis with modern offices equipped with the latest orthodontic technology. Their 3 amazing doctors are dedicated to providing top-notch, innovative treatments tailored just for you. Join us in celebrating 50 years with Bankhead and Firth Orthodontics, where your family becomes a part of theirs. Schedule your free consultation today and let them help you achieve the confident, gorgeous smile that you deserve. Because in St. Louis, your smile is your legacy.
If you want to hear about St. Louis, tune in to the Bucket List Show weekly. Hear what Marissa and Luke say. It drops every Wednesday. Got a dope new guest every single week. Buckle up for the ride. Who's it gonna be? Who's on the show today? They rep St. Louis. What to do in the loo on a late night, or maybe what to do on a date night. Yeah, Bucket List has you covered. They know what's going on. What's going on? They'll give you, hey, 18 different things to do, or 19 if you need one more to choose. Yeah, this city is a place we call home. A place we call home, yeah.
What's up, St. Louis? We're back with another episode of the STL Bucket List Show. We continue to put these episodes out each and every Wednesday to highlight the people, places, and events that make St. Louis special. Marissa is not on this episode. We're kind of going back and forth. Obviously, you guys know we keep getting these emails wondering when Marissa is going to come back on the show. I don't know if they want to listen to me or not, but we really couldn't do this show without our incredible partners, Bomarito Automotive Group, Four Hands Brewing Company, First Community Credit Union, the Regional Arts Commission of St. Louis, and everybody that's really helped us make this show so successful. And we get to have these deep, raw conversations with real people in St. Louis each and every week. So we have somebody in the studio today doing something really special for the city. We have Dr. Scott Morris, the Executive Director of UMSL Entrepreneurship and the Innovation Center.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Nice to meet you.
Yes, sir. Nice to meet you, Scott. Thank you for coming in. I first want to, if you could tell the listeners a little bit about what you're doing now, but then I want to take a deep dive back on what you've done in the past. So
sure.
Just to give the listeners an idea, what are you guys doing at UMSL and what's making it so special?
Yeah, so there's a couple components to it, and we're trying to create. I've kind of fallen in love with this virtuous cycle, virtuous circle that we're trying to put together, where we're really trying to strengthen local businesses. We're trying to offer programming, funding. We provide students to do internships, so that's all great. And the next leg of the stool is to do more investor education. So if we can get more angels interested in investing in these strengthened startup companies, then we kind of close that loop, right? And so we can help strengthen the companies, help bring the investors to them, and we're trying to provide great internships and job opportunities for the UMSL students too.
Yeah, and you have, like you said, you have this wheel, because not only now can you provide the internships, you can provide the coaching and the resources, and then you also can provide the funds. Which
exactly.
You have all three, things of the flywheel there. So,
and it's a great way to keep our alumni and our faculty involved, and they're just so happy to come back. I can't tell you the number of times I've called somebody, and I'm always kind of nervous to make the phone call, like, hey, would you agree to be a mentor for 8 weeks for this local company?
Yeah.
And most of the time the response is, I can't believe you just called me. I've just been thinking about ways that I can get involved and give back. And so it's really cool to be able to offer opportunities for successful people and people that are, kind of looking in the rearview mirror of their careers to come back and have a place to give all that knowledge and their resources. So it's great.
People want to give, and especially people in certain positions of life, is like, they want to coach, they want to mentor. And I mean, everybody has that in them. It just depends on what part of the journey that they're on.
It's so true.
So it's so cool that you guys can tap into those talents, because it's something that some of those UMSL people have never had access to, like other universities or anything like that. So it's something new. But I wanted to learn a little bit more about what you did before this, because obviously this is something newer that you guys are doing. But were you always involved in entrepreneurship and innovation and stuff like that? Or kind of give us a little bit about your background and your roots to St. Louis. Are you from the area?
Yeah, well, I guess you can say kind of. I've lived in St. Louis 3 different times. My wife and I moved back here in 2001, and so we raised our 3 boys here. So it's home for sure. So yeah, deep connection to St. Louis. I spent 30 years in the corporate world, and this was a dream of mine that I really kind of started to think about maybe 15, 20 years ago. When we moved to St. Louis in 2001, I joined a men's group, and we were studying a book called Halftime by this guy, Bob Buford. And he talked about having 2 careers. The first one is focused on success, and the second one is focused on significance. So that really resonated with me. And I was like, that's really something I want to do. And I thought about it, and had 15 years or so to kind of think about how to execute it. And I landed on, it would be great to go back and kind of serve and to just be a resource and hopefully help people in their journey. And so I went back, I got my doctorate from UMSL at the age of 50.
Wow.
And then as I was defending my dissertation chair came up to me and said, told me about this job and asked me if I had heard about it or applied. And so she really encouraged me. And it was just one of those divine intervention moments, right? Right place, right time. And it just happened that they needed a skill set that I had spent 30 years trying to perfect. So yeah.
I like that book. I'll have to check that out. But like Halftime, as in like you said, you spent your life earning and building value, and then like setting your family up. But then you're like, okay, now I need to add value to other people's lives after this. So I think everybody nowadays, at least when I talk to some of my friends, they want to have such a big impact in their work, but they also want to make a lot of money in their work. And it's like having to meld both of those together is very difficult.
It's very difficult.
And there's things that you have to do for money that aren't always the most value. So it's a hard challenge, and you've been through it, obviously. And it's cool that you get to do that. So in your first year as the executive director, I mean, you guys get so many people applying for this. It's probably so hard to like pick, the 20 that get to pass through. So tell us about that process. I mean, how involved are you, and are you researching every company? Are you hearing every pitch and stuff like that?
Definitely. I'm researching every company, hearing every pitch. So I started October 1st last year, and we were normally that's when we open the application process. And so I had no clue how accelerators run or, kind of how the vetting process goes. Fortunately, I have a really experienced, wonderful partner that I work with at UMSL, and he had been through this several cycles and just took the bull by the horns and took control of it. But we get about 250 to 300 applicants a year. We go through each and every application. We divvy them up into groups of about 5 and assign them to a group of judges. So we get these third-party judges, independent people that are somehow affiliated with UMSL or the program, and they rank the companies that they're assigned to. We do a cut, maybe about 50% of the companies make it through that first round, and then we do a second round, very similar. We make sure that no judge is assigned the same company twice, and so they then vet the next group. Eventually, we get it down to a final 15, and that's who comes in and does the pitch. We're rebranding that and calling it Pitch Fest this year.
Nice.
So yeah, usually 15 companies come in to pitch for 5 to 6 scholarships or grants, and it's $50,000. They get a mentor, they get an intern, and we put them through an 8-week kind of training program.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, that's a huge jumpstart for some of these businesses.
Right.
Just the actual person to help. Some of these might only be solo entrepreneurs, and some of them, the money obviously helps, but money comes and goes, and it's like, how can we give you the coaching where you can build this, beyond? So have you had an aha moment yet? Because I know a lot of people I talk to, you have this aha moment, this enlightening of during the process since October, where you're like, because I really made the right decision doing this. Can you point to any of those moments? I mean, I'm sure you have those all the time, but.
Totally. I won't say there's any particular one. What I will say is that, we say that the goal for the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center is impact. And you feel like that's personally what you're able to have. You build these relationships with the local companies, and we're trying to create more of a sense of community and bringing people back into the program, back onto campus, to give back to the next generation, help the next founders through, or provide them programming or connect them. I had lunch with Eric Love's the name of the guy, and he was in the first cohort that we did. So 4 or 5 years ago, 2020, he was in that cohort. And I hadn't had a chance to meet him yet, we sat down and we're chatting, and he had a list. It was a list of 7 things that he needed that I felt like we could help with. And so we're now trying to, it's like, we want to continue to be a resource for you. We don't want to just launch you back into the wild. Like, we're still here. We still have all these things that we can offer. So it's great to be able to continue to support the local businesses and help them with any kind of needs that they have.
That is so cool. You're like, yeah, we can help with that. St. Louis, we're back with a quick break from the official banking partner of STL Bucket List. We're here with First Community Credit Union. We've been partnered up for the last few months, and we've really been trying to educate our listeners, our community, on the benefits of First Community and what they do for St. Louis. They have locations all over the region, so regardless of where you live in St. Louis, you're going to be pretty close to one of their locations. Now that I've been working with you guys, I've been driving by, and I'm like, oh, there's another one. I never saw that one there. There's
40 plus locations.
I went to the one. I went to Winghaven to go see my parents. I saw the new one getting built over in Caledonia Estates. I saw the new billboard and everything. But we have Colin from First Community Credit Union. Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
So first, I want to learn a little bit more about your role. So if you could tell our listeners what you do and kind of what a typical day looks like for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I run the social media for all of First Community. So anything you see, Facebook, Instagram, sometimes TikTok, sometimes X. It just kind of varies. LinkedIn as well. I write blogs as well. I try to do one a month, kind of pertaining to whatever promotion we have going on. So you'll also see sometimes those shared on social media as well. And then other than that, just little side projects. You may see a billboard that I did as you're driving, down the highway. It just kind of varies.
So graphic design stuff.
Yeah,
marketing.
we're a really small team, so we kind of spread the work out wherever we can.
Yeah, and as you guys grow and you scale so fast, there's always something to do.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, hey, can you make this flyer? Hey, can you write this? Or hey, we need to do a new post. And you guys are signing new partnerships with the Blues and other sporting teams. And you're like, hey, we got to make some content for this. We got to have this. We got to make a debit card
absolutely
for the studio. But that's awesome, man. So how did you first hear about STL Bucket List? Because I forgot how we got connected through your recruitment team. And that's how we got met with you. But you had already known about STL Bucket List before then. Yeah.
So it's funny. I kind of looked into that before coming here. I was just really curious. So the earliest I know that I liked when you guys post was January of last year. I feel like I had seen some before, but it was something new and refreshing to see. I don't feel like I saw too much of stuff kind of highlighting what's going on in the city, at least not an account completely dedicated to it. So I began following from there. My wife definitely has been following a bunch and saved probably at least 100 different posts of stuff that we have to go try.
That's amazing. You guys foodies?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But then from there, I remember at one point seeing you guys share a recruiting post. It was right around the time I was on the job hunt. I thought, this is interesting. You don't normally see this from, again, a St. Louis page about events and all that. Usually you got to go to LinkedIn, Indeed, whatever. So it really got me thinking once I, started working at First Community, hey, why don't we reach out, see if we can put, certain roles on their page, see if they'll advertise some of that stuff for us. And so from there, our recruiter reached out to you guys.
Okay, so you're the reason it all happened.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know, because I knew that the recruiter, but then I was like, so we just started doing a couple, and then they're like, hey, how can we make this better? And now, you guys are sponsoring some of our other things we're doing, the real estate series and different things like that.
It's really come along,
the podcast, the email, have a dedicated page on the website. And for us, I think the biggest thing was like in banking, it's like, we post about restaurants and food and events, and sometimes banking's not fun like that, but it is, because everybody needs it.
Sure.
And it's a vital part about everything that we do in life.
Absolutely.
And, that's amazing. Well, you had a lot go on in your personal life. You just got married.
I did.
While you were on the job, because I remember you went on your honeymoon.
Yes.
So just got married. Tell us about it. How did everything go? Did it go as planned?
It was great. I mean, it went about as according to plan as you can expect a wedding to go. We had a few hiccups here and there. I mean, Mother Nature sometimes doesn't play nice.
Yeah, you told me that.
It's about an hour of rain. Actually, the hour that was supposed to be during the ceremony. It was when it was raining. Everything else just clear as day, beautiful sunset for photos and everything. But other than that, it was perfect. It was a great day. And
what would be, because a lot of people are that listen to our show are young. I mean, what is some of the advice that you guys would give in your experience? Budgeting, planning, obviously it's very expensive. Yeah. So what's some of the advice that you guys would give?
Yeah, you just kind of touched on it. I think some people don't realize how expensive it's going to get. So definitely set a budget beforehand and don't go over it. I mean, as much as you want to, don't go over it. There's always alternatives to stuff. I know my wife was awesome about DIYing.
Yep.
More than half of the things we use, whether it be signs, koozies that we gave away to family and friends, coasters for the wedding. You can save a lot of money doing that kind of stuff. Same with florals. You can get, fake ones, kind of mix in some real ones, make it look great, much cheaper. But then, other than that, there are always options such as loans available. We actually do have a wedding loan that we offer.
But don't put it on a high credit card.
Don't put it on a high credit card. You actually see credit card rates are about, maybe 25% right now on average. I mean, these wedding loans that we offer are at least half of that interest rate. So try that instead. It's about, a $5,000 loan is going to be probably about $100 a month payment. So it's pretty affordable.
Yeah, that's interesting because people just rack stuff up on credit cards, man, and it's a problem. With
There's a smarter approach, and it's not credit cards.
But don't spend behind your means, and that's the thing is like sometimes you have to realize, okay, like do I need the loan? Is it that important? Do I need those real flowers?
Exactly.
Can I go with fake flowers? Or,
Exactly.
And there's so many things that go into it. But once it's over, you're like, man, I'm just glad that it happened. You have to live in the moment and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So where do you guys live now? Tell us about the honeymoon.
Yeah.
Tell us about the story I heard about the storm damage.
Sure.
Stuff like that. So.
We moved over Valley Park area a little bit before the wedding. We've been there, since. We're loving it. It's been great. We did have some storm damage come in.
Was that while you were on the honeymoon?
It was the first night of the honeymoon. We had a hailstorm come through, totaled both of our cars, and did, a ton of damage to the condo itself.
Oh my gosh.
So we've actually both gotten new cars since as well.
They tore it up. I saw pictures. It was like 3-inch, like the windows.
It's crazy. It looked like a tornado went through there. I mean,
so who sent you a picture? One of your guys' parents? Were like, hey,
it was her parents.
Yeah, like, hey, I went by your house, and you're like, hey, don't send that to me. I don't need that negativity.
It was our dinner the first night. We were just like, can you stop texting us? Just let us enjoy this a little bit.
We'll be back. We'll deal with it when we get back.
Yeah, it's all good now though.
That's crazy. So you've planned a wedding, you've purchased a home,
Sure.
What do you wish that you would have known before that process? Because I think, I've bought a home before and there's a lot of things that, we don't know what we're getting into and stuff like that. So was there any advice like you wish you would have had when you were going through that process? Or?
Yeah. So it's funny you mentioned that because we actually offer a first-time home buyer loan, which I think covers a lot of the things that we just didn't really know about going into the process. We quickly learned we have this much set aside for a down payment, and that's the only thing we really consider. Yeah. But then you have closing costs, you have origination fees, you have PMI if you don't, usually do about
inspections, new furniture, all the stuff that comes after you buy the house.
Everything. And so the first-time homebuyer loan, actually, you have none of that. You don't have PMI, no down payment required, no origination fee, no closing costs. So while there might be other fees involved, it saves you a ton of money. So, when you're looking to buy the first home, you maybe don't have that much saved up. It's really nice to be able to take advantage of that. I've
never heard of that until I met you guys that day. It's
like
this no money down home, because usually it's like you're at least at 3.5%.
Yeah.
A lot of times you're going to be at 5 or 10%. Sometimes if you want to know PMI, you're going to have to be at 20%.
It's crazy. And then let alone, some of the other stuff sometimes with the housing market that you have to deal with. It's just, it can be tough.
That's crazy, especially in this market of like trying to buy homes and like people want to own real estate that you guys have that. And that's one of the things about the First Community Credit Union is the home loans, the auto loans that you guys do, the weddings.
Absolutely.
You're more than just a banking and debit card. You're more than just having a checking account.
Sure.
You have all these different things. One of the things that I've been talking to your guys' business team, it's been awesome, is these money management accounts, CDs with great benefits and great interest on those. We've moved our business banking over there, so it's been amazing. But so when you're buying a house, it's a big process. You bought a condo, you bought a home before.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of things you have to go through. Like, what are the first steps? How do you proceed? Do they call you? They fill something out online?
So you can actually go online to fill out all this stuff with the first-time home buyer. There's no application fee or anything, so even if you don't qualify, you're not out any money, but it's worth taking a look, right? And just see if you qualify, take advantage. Usually, especially if it is your first home, you're probably going to qualify for it. So,
no, that's amazing. I think that's so interesting of all the other things. So besides all that, what with First Community Credit Union, I mean, what are some of the other things that you guys offer that people might not know about?
Absolutely. So you touched on some.
Yeah.
We offer great savings account, like you mentioned, the money management. CDs, they're great alternatives to a normal savings account, especially if you want to earn more interest, you plan on keeping that money set aside for a little bit longer and not really touching it. We offer multiple checking accounts, including some with rewards and some that earn interest with more that you have in the account. And then multiple low APR credit cards that are, again, like we touched on earlier, 25% is the average. These are much, much lower than that.
I just heard about those, and I just saw some I just keep seeing your guys' billboards. You
Yeah.
guys are marketing this year.
Hey, maybe you saw one I made. I don't know.
No, that's funny. Maybe we got to do an STL bucket list billboard.
Yeah,
somewhere.
there we go.
We got to
There
talk
we go.
about that. We got to get that happen.
Put the card up there.
Put
There
the
we
card
go.
up there. And be like, hey, business banking, baby, supporting small business. But no, I think the great thing about working with you guys, I think, is first of all learning.
Yeah.
Second of all, is now we have a business relationship together, so we have our business banking there. So now we're talking to Michael and the guys over there about what we can do, and helping us buy real estate and helping us do other things. So I think that our goal was, it's way bigger than Instagram. It's like, yeah, Instagram's cool, brand awareness is cool,
Sure.
but it's like we want to build a long-term relationship with a banking partner, and I'm glad that we found you guys. But to wrap up, tell people where they can find you guys online. We're trying to boost those Instagram followers up. You guys been doing pretty good.
Yes.
We're one of the few accounts with a couple of thousand followers. Yep.
Loving it. So you can find us, all this information, firstcommunity.com. You can find us at, I believe our Instagram is at First Community, Facebook, First Community Credit Union. Those are kind of the preferred ones. So
question for you: what's one of the things being in you've been in social media, you've been in marketing. What's one of the what are you learning about being in banking? Because there's different things that you guys have to do with social media.
Sure.
Can't get as fun as some of these others. So I mean, what have you been learning and how to generate engagement?
Absolutely. You just kind of have to be creative. One of the things I've kind of loved figuring out lately is people don't necessarily want to have products promoted to them. Educating is a little bit better of a way to approach things. So it's fun to kind of learn myself how some of these products work, and then kind of present it to the general public. How would I make it fun and interesting? Yeah,
because it is like everything you see on social media is a sale, but it's like I always say storytelling. You tell a story, you educate, and then people, if they're interested, they're going to find you. Yeah, it's not hard to find you.
Absolutely.
They just type it in anywhere. You type it in on Google, you guys are going to pop up. So no, I appreciate you coming in, Colin, and excited to keep this rolling. So,
absolutely.
All right, man.
Same
Thanks.
as well. Thank you.
So what's going on with the team now? I mean, you guys are going into the fall. Obviously, you got some exciting things going. So, I mean, what are you guys working on at the moment?
So one of the things that the program is just fantastic. I can't believe that I fell into this, and it's up and running, and we do great things for these businesses that come through the program. The thing that really struck me is, so if we have 300 applicants, I've gone back and I actually counted. So we've had 1,100 unique applicants over the 4-year period that we've run the accelerator. So we've awarded 22 companies, all of the things that come with winning, but that means we've turned away 1,078 companies, and they've walked away with nothing. And so one of the things that we heard when we were notifying people that they didn't make it into the finals, that last group of 15 that was pitching, we heard, the money's great. I love all that, but I'd really love to have a mentor, and I'd really love the programming. I'd love to go to the classes and get the training. You can have the money, just give me the training. And so in thinking about that, that's one of the changes that we've made to the program. And I've tried to open up everything. So we're now going to let anyone in the community that wants to come take the classes, come in and take the classes. We will put together mentor groups. So I don't know that I have enough mentors that I can do one mentor per founder like we do with the winners, but we can put 3 or 4 businesses together and have them share a mentor. And we can, obviously, we want to create more internships. So we're going to subsidize, we'll pay half of the cost of the intern, you pay half of the cost of the intern. So we're opening up pretty much everything except the grant to anyone in the community that wants to come in and be a part of this.
Wow. That's incredible. So you can take the classes, you just have to sign up for them? Is
That's
there
it. Yeah.
limited spots or, yeah?
Yeah, we'd like to keep the number to about 40.
Mhm.
So there's a little bit of limitation, but
Mhm.
this will be the first time that we've offered it.
Mhm.
And so it may take a little while for it to get going, but
That's incredible. I think that that's part of the way of like building a great program is listening to people and what they need. You know,
Sure.
sometimes you think this big prize is what they need, but really what they need is just one person would give advice and mentorship.
Right.
And that's one thing we struggle as a business owner. I mean, I started my business when I was 23, and I think that some of the things that you lack is that good advice. Google and YouTube can only tell you so much, you know,
Sure.
especially when you don't come from a family of entrepreneurs and stuff like that. So that's cool. So implementing that. So, and that's going to be on campus then and stuff too.
It is. Yeah. At the moment, we can only offer it in person, but
Yeah.
when we're doing a major renovation to the Entrepreneurship Center,
Nice.
so we'll close down the facility in October of this year, open it up again in the spring, and then when we launch the program again next fall, we should be able to offer hybrid options.
And then you're going to be getting a certificate basically for that program and stuff.
If you can take a course, there's 5 courses to
Mhm.
complete the certificate. You can take one course, or if you take all 5, you get a certificate and you
Yeah.
automatically get entered into the finals of Pitch Fest.
Mhm. So there's all these, these pitch fests. So, when these people come here, you get to hear these incredible stories. I mean, for the people that are listening, that are going to apply for these, I mean, what are some of the things that you're telling those companies? I mean, what makes them stand out?
Yeah.
Is there certain processes that make them stand out?
Definitely. So we're looking to see that you are 100% in your business. You are 100% committed to your business. This is your only source of income. You are going to live or die with the success of this business. So that's one. You got to be fully invested and fully bought in. The other thing that we're looking for is scalability. So, we fully support and recognize the lifestyle entrepreneurs, but we're looking for those businesses, or our programming is really intended to benefit most those businesses that are really trying to scale. So we want to hear things like $50,000 sounds like a lot of money. It's really not in the grand scheme of things, right? And so we want to hear that I know how to get more revenue per head by using your $50,000 in this way, or I know how to lower my cost per unit to this by using your $50,000 this way, or I'm going to expand my TAM in this way. So we want to hear that you get I'm driving productivity, I'm driving efficiency, and I'm really trying to scale to that next level. Those are the key buzzwords that I'm in this to grow the business to make it as big and as successful as it possibly can be, not just so that I can afford to take weekends off and do whatever.
Exactly. And I think that how they're going to use the money is important. And I think one of the big things is the scalability is like, are you going to be creating jobs locally? Is
Right.
probably a big thing is like, hey, I'm actually going to hire my first employee with this so that I can scale for this. So I think that that's interesting. And that's part of the things that you coach them on after too, is like, how do you structure your first employee? How do you, build a brand and all these different things? So
Exactly right.
get a little deeper with me with some of the program, because I'm interested myself to look into that. But if you could tell me like what some of those programs look like after for some of these entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So the 5 modules pair with this software. So we've gone out, we found a textbook and other resources that they all kind of work symbiotically. We build into this software that when you complete the business plan, when you walk through each of the modules, you will have a completed business plan that you can take to SBA or SBDC, and it is your loan application. So they've signed off on this as a product that's like, okay, if you complete that, that's your loan application. So it's very well vetted, very well tested, and the programming is to help you walk through that and make some of those difficult choices that an investor or a lender is going to want to hear about. The other thing, it's got an AI tool so that you can just hit the button and it becomes an investor presentation. So we're helping them and we're coaching them on here are the things that are important to lenders. So when you go to take out a loan, they're going to ask you these questions, and we've already thought of the answers. So you walk in there very well polished, and that's part of the reason why we let the people who complete all 5 modules into the finals, is our assumption is we have gotten you ready, or maybe even better prepared than the best pitches that will just come through the open application process. So you should be pretty fine-tuned and ready to go
Yeah.
once you work through everything.
So you have some important dates coming up. So you got, their certificate program, which kicks off September 6th.
Right.
People can register when this podcast episode comes out, so they can register for that. Entrepreneurship of the Entrepreneur of the Year will take place on November 12th. Tickets will also go on sale with that sometime soon. And then Pitch Fest applications open October 1st. Win grants, and obviously they can follow you online for all this details. But tell us about some of these dates and what people should look out for that.
Yeah, exactly. So now's the time to enroll for the first courses. Our first module is around strategy and culture. So really, it kind of the programming is intended to work chronologically. So we kind of build. You can jump in midstream or at the end and take whatever's most interesting or most important to you. But they are intended to work chronologically. So this first one's around strategy and culture. So now's the time to enroll for that. And the Entrepreneur of the Year awards that you mentioned, those are really, you don't have to be an UMSL alum to win the award, but we have so many UMSL alums that have done such great things that this year's crop only includes UMSL alums. And it's fantastic to me as a graduate there myself to see what other alums have done with their lives. So we've got a person that has built. He just told me the other day a double unicorn. So the unicorn, if you're not familiar with the tech industry, or is a business that's valued at $1 billion. So basically, he was a startup. He started the business just in and of himself. Worked without a paycheck for however many months it was, and his business today is worth $1 billion. And he's been acquired by a business that's also worth $1 billion. So they're double unicorns. And, the guy got his degree at UMSL. So there's all these success stories all around us. Some of them are pretty well known, some less so. And so it's great just to work with these people. And they've all come back as mentors. So they're working for me as mentors, and he's sold his business for $200 million. He'll probably make that much again when they IPO eventually, and he's available as a mentor for these local founders.
Yeah, that's amazing to get access to people like that, because you can't find that anywhere else,
right,
unless you're in person and they're dedicated to actually giving you that time. So with some of the businesses, obviously STL Bucket List, where we love supporting local businesses, highlighting the people, places, and events that make St. Louis special. Are there any things in St. Louis that are on your STL bucket list, like things that you do with your family or anything like that when maybe people come in town or anything like that? Like, what would be on your STL bucket list?
Yeah, there's so much to offer. So it really depends on who the person is and kind of what their interests are. My wife's cousin was just here recently, and we're out walking all the different parks that are around and spent some time outdoors. Of course, you got to go down and catch a Cardinals game. The restaurant scene is just incredible. So, we love to eat out and do things like that. But it really depends on what that individual is looking to do. And I feel like we've got pretty much anything that they want that we can go cross off the list. Young kids, you got to take them to the City Museum and the zoo or the Arch. And,
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I've been checking off all the summer baby bucket list things. We've been doing everything, but it's just like different, now when you have a family and stuff. So
Sure.
I want to talk a little bit more about the program. So people can apply. You kind of fill people in on what makes them stand out. What about, links? Where can they go? Is it everything just right on your website? So
it is, yeah.
Okay.
So if you just if you do a Google search for UMSL and EIC or Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center, you'll find all of our programming. It's all, we have a dedicated page in the UMSL website.
Yeah, that's incredible. I think the work, I've been following along on social media, and I just love to see some of the stories, and those are just going to keep you're going to keep building more stories, and what's going to be cool is some of these other cohorts are going to connect with the future cohorts and how those can create synergy between both of it. So I'm super excited for what you guys are doing, and I think it's amazing, and hopefully we can continue to support you guys in any way, and I appreciate you for coming on the show today. So
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate you.
All right.
Today they rep St. Louis, yeah. They rep St. Louis. They rep St. Louis.